Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another virtual Wargaming live battle report. Today I'm playing Warhammer Fantasy 6th edition using the Little Lords rule set between High Elves and Hordes of Chaos. I've already done 2 games of Little Lords before, but on the off chance that people aren't following all of them, which, let's be real, you probably aren't, I'm going to quickly run over what Little Lords is. Little Lords is 500 point Warbands games. However, you have a Lord level character who costs 5 times less points, effectively. So you have up to 500 points you can spend on your Lord. You then divide the points cost by 5, take that out of the 500 points you have for your Warband, and build the rest of the Warband after that. And then everything else plays like Warband rules. So we use a little wars scenario, random objectives, all of that stuff. So let me go ahead and jump into our lists for today. We'll start with the Hordes of Chaos. So up here we have our Champion of Khorne, or our Lord of Chaos, I should say. With the Mark of Khorne, she is mounted on a demonic mount, this little goat boy right here. I love him dearly. She is carrying a shield. She has the Collar of Khorne and a Chaos Rune Sword, making her very, very magic resistant. Accompanying her, we have a unit of 3 Knights of Chaos. No Mark of Khorne. They look like they're corny. This is because I used the same models that I used from the Battle of Emerald Pass. This is the same hero as well for Khorne. So that's why they look similar, but they aren't Khorne affiliated, they're just Khorne looking. A unit of 6 Chaos Warriors with shields. 10 Marauders of Chaos, who I forgot to give 1 musician to. And they have light armor and shields. A unit of 5 Fleshhounds of Khorne. This is the best that I could do with my limited amount of time with Hero Forge models, so my apologies they don't look like the hissing frilled neck lizards that I'm sure many people love, but I did give them frills as best as I could. And then finally we have a pair of Chaos Ogres drawn from the Beasts of Chaos list. For the High Elves, we have an Archmage upgraded to level 4, and she is carrying the Book of Hoeth. For her spells, she is going with High Magic, and she generated Walk Between Worlds, Curse of Arrow Attraction, Fortune is Fickle, and a Fool's Unmaking. The astute among you, those familiar with the spells, may notice that I did not generate the 2 attacking spells, that is, Fury of Cain and Flames of the Phoenix. I was really hoping that I would generate one of those to actually have some, damage potential with her. Not generating them only has a 9% chance of happening, so that was some incredible bad luck. I had intended, if I didn't generate Walk Between Worlds, to swap Fortune is Fickle away for it, but I'm going to stick with what I've got, and if I lose horribly, I can just blame it on the 9% chance. In addition to that, we have 12 Spearmen, 4 Silver Helms with shields, with heavy armor, fully kitted out this time. I know in my previous one of my units wasn't kitted out, and that is not the case today. And we have 8 Swordmasters of Hoeth, and a Repeater Bolt Thrower with crew. So, I was going to say without further ado, but no, there is one little thing. So obviously, I generated already who went first, which is going to be Chaos, and I generated the objectives. Chaos has Invade, so they're trying to get into the deployment zone, which is this rough square here. Whereas High Elves got Hold Territory. Well, they got Choose, and I took Hold Territory because right now, just by existing, they aren't completing it, but they're doing well on it. And since the enemy is going to want to push in on them, basically, if they can hold out, they automatically will succeed in their objective. Is the thinking, is the hope. We shall find out if that holds up. So, without further ado, now we're going to hop into it. And we're going to start with Chaos Marauders, just booking it 8 inches forward. They're probably going to get charged by the Swordmasters. I kind of just have to accept that's going to happen, though. Our Fleshhounds of Chaos are going to, we're going to swing them right this way. And then our Chaos Knights of Khorne, our Chaos Knights, I should say, are going to, trot forward a bit. And then we're going to wheel like so. And then we're actually going to wheel like so again. And so the goal here is to try and avoid... I'm actually going to scoot them this way a little bit. And just say that I would have done the appropriate wheeling. They are not too far to have marched this distance. And I'm just going to quickly wheel them a little bit further this way. Okay, and so basically we just don't want them to get hit by the Swordmasters if they overrun, but be able to swing in and either get them or swing around this way and just like sweep in to get the objective and let the Swordmasters go running off this direction, is what we're doing right now. Now, Ogres. My notes say they only move 4 inches. I feel like my notes are incorrect. I think I didn't update them correctly. So we're going to quickly double check that. And nope, I didn't update my notes correctly for the Ogres. Alright, 1 second while I fix that. I definitely didn't because they only have 1 wound according to this, which is definitely incorrect. Okay, now my notes are correct. So my Ogres are going to move out of the difficult terrain, that's 2 inches. And we're going to wheel aggressively. 1.2, a little bit further. 1.6, we're at 3.6 inches so far. 4, 5, 6 inches. No, I'm not going to do that yet. I'm going to actually scoot them another inch forward. So that's 7 inches. Uh, 8.6, going up to 12. So that's 4.4 more we can go forward. Okay, so now again, they could be charged by the spearmen, but that's not going to be the case because obviously the bolt thrower wants to try and unleash into them. So with that in mind, we're going to swing the Chaos Champion right up behind them because the Chaos Champion can see the mage. So we can do a charge this way, a charge this way. And then the Chaos Warrior is finally going to scoot forward about an inch. And then they're going to do a long wheel. A 6-inch wheel, and they're going to go an inch forward. Which is like unfortunate, but the as always, I built the battlefields before I generated the board layout, and I got a really unfortunate deployment zone set up for the Chaos side, which is why we ended up so scuffed. Alright, and that brings us to the Elf turn. Okay, charges. Yeah, Swordmasters are going to go into the Chaos Marauders. Do I want the Silver Helms to go into the Ogre because the Corn Champion is an option to shoot at? I think I'm going to try that. Okay, so first things first. Yep, they're in. Wheel it. Scoot them back, maximize. Yep, all 8 are going to hit. Then we're going to see... Can they see them? Yes, they can. Okay. Fear check. They have passed. And now we see if they are in range. So I would wheel them directly to face. So like that. 2 inches. They've got 12 left. Yep, they are in, and that's going to be on the flank too. That is very nasty. And because they have 40 inches, yeah, we can only get 3 in there. Okay. Magic phase. We have 6 dice. There's going to be 3 dice countering us. Plus, the Lord of Chaos has magic resistance if we want to target her, which I do want to target her really badly. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off by... Right, we're going to... 4 dice rolls on making is what we're going to do. Okay, so 4 dice. Double 6s. Okay, so that is Irresistible Force. I am going to... Oh, okay, if I break the collar, it makes the next spell easier. But if I break the Rune Sword, that means that if she goes ethereal, she being the Archmage goes ethereal, then she can't be hit except by the goat. I'm going to break the sword. Okay, so I'm going to quickly update my notes. Chaos Rune Sword. Broken. And that is also like 70 points worth of value erased from the army. And then I'm going to... Do I Cursive Arrow Traction on her? I'm going to try it. Okay, so that's 2 dice. So I've only got 2 dice for this. A 9. And then they get... They're only going to 4 dice. Oh, so we're going to 5 dice it. Yep, right. Dispelled. Expected outcome. But that's fine. I needed to do it that way. Okay, so now point blank, we're going to shoot that one. Shoot the champion. Shoot the chaos. The Lord of Chaos. There we go. I can finally speak correctly. So we landed 3 shots. Very quickly, I'm going to check the rules on shooting at monsters. I'm fairly certain it's a 5-up hits the character on top, but I want to check. Yep, 5 or 6, the rider gets hit. So it's going to be 3 shots that hit on 5s. It is strength 4 versus toughness 5, I believe. Yep, toughness 5, so 5s to wound. Chaos Armor is a 4-up. It's a 3-up, it comes back to a 5-up. Go. Alright, so nothing succeeded because everything hit the goat. So the goat is going to also be wounded on a 5 and save on a 5. Go. 1 wound to the goat. So that is 1 of his 3 wounds lost. And then, combat phase. I'm going to start here with the Silver Helms. So we have 3 attacks. That will hit on 3s, that will wound on 3s, that will save on, I think it's 7s. No, it's 6s. They have light armor and shields. Go. 1 wound. Next up, the horses. 3 attacks that will hit on 4s, that will wound on 5s, that will save on 4s. Go. Another wound. Unfortunately, not enough wounds to achieve the value that we wanted. That is okay. So now we get 3 attacks back that will hit on 4s, that will wound on 3s, and will save on 3s. Go. Nothing. Good outcome. Then over here we have our Swordmasters. This is 8 Swordmasters. 8 attacks, hit on 3s, wound on 2s, save on 6s. Go. That's a whole row wiped out. So that's actually devastating for them. Alright, so let's go back over here. Combat res, 2 wounds, on a flank. No, these guys outnumber. So that cancels out, so it's just 2 wounds. And they get a 7. Their leadership is 7, but then right next to the Chaos Lord, who is 9, they've lost by 2. So yeah, they're fine. They are staying in. Over here, lost by 5 because they had a rank, but they're also outnumbered. So, yep, they're fleeing. They go 12 inches. And I'm actually going to attempt to restrain. Yep, success. Okay, so pursuing 12 inches wasn't going to happen. Overexposing into the Chaos Knight is a bad decision. I would be like way further forward. This way they have to, yes, they'll still charge me. But they're basically just forcing to come around. I don't know, I didn't want to overcommit into this territory if I can help it, is my thinking. Even though it's not exactly correct. Okay, so with that brings us to the next turn. Marauders of Chaos get to attempt to rally. No, charges first. Okay, charges. Knights of Khorne, or Chaos Knights at the Swordmasters. I keep saying Khorne because it's a Khorne-themed army, but that's not correct. Okay, so she doesn't have a direct line to either of these, so we are going to have to just take her around. So, Chaos Knights go in, and they, whoops, let me get them facing the correct way, and wheel. And then we maximize, like so. Okay, next up. Oh, next up is rallying, yep. Yep, they're fine, they've rallied, so they're okay. 8-inch march to get closer with these guys. There isn't really a good angle through either of these spots for the flesh hounds. Maybe I just actually wait on them. Honestly, not the worst idea. Yeah, what we're going to do actually is going to wheel the flesh hounds around like so. And we're literally just going to position them here, so that if the Swordmasters break the Knights and overrun, we just get slammed straight into their flank, break them into this direction, hopefully, and win the day. Now, next up, she goes through the difficult terrain, and we're just going to stop, like, here. And then, like, point her looking at these guys. And that is the end of this turn. So we're going to go over here. Chaos Knights, 3 attacks. We will hit on 4s because the Swordmasters are weapon skill 6. But we'll wound on 2s and they will save on 7s. Go. 3 dead Swordmasters. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in base contact, so they get 2 attacks back. But first, we have 3 4s, 3s, 6s, nothing from the horses. So there's 2 attacks back. Hit on 3s, wound on 3s, save on 2s, 3s, 4s. Go. Nothing. Alright, so we're going to come back to that. Now we have our Silver Helms. Now they are all... No, they aren't hitting all the same, unfortunately. 5s and 4s. Go. 4s, 4s, 5s, 4s, go. Nothing. And this is the unfortunate thing that happens every single time you stall out with a cavalry charge, is now they aren't going to do any damage whatsoever. And there's just going to be a very slow and steady crunching down. Not this guy actually, hang on. This one dies. Because this guy is the anchor for this unit, so I need him still there. I just slide them up a bit to re-maximize. Perfect. Okay, and then over here, 3 outnumber, so that's lost by 4. Yep, they go fleeing 9 inches. And obviously we are going to pursue with the knights, so 3d6 inches of pursuit. Only 6, goodness. That's actually kind of insane. And this one, there was 1 wound, but they're on the flank, and the numbers are equal, so that's a tie. So, High Elf turn 2. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? Okay, so let's start with our charges. I'm not going to commit the Spearman. Am I going to commit the Spearman? Okay, let's say I don't commit the Spearman. She's going to charge them. She's going to tear through them. If I commit them into the Ogres, I might be able to get them into the Chaos Warriors. Oh, this is so hard. Who could have foreseen this would be a difficult game? Me is the answer. I know exactly how rough High Elves versus Hordes is. I know how rough almost all High Elf matchups are. High Elves are just not very good. Yeah, screw it. I'm going to commit the Spearman into the charge. Let's be proactive. So, we're in. This also just like gives them static combat winning, which is like a huge deal. Okay. This turn, we're going to 4 dice once again. falls on making. Because if we can get this, we can get off the collar, and then we can do Curse of Arrow Attraction on her next turn. So let's go 2/3, so that's an irresistible force, so the collar is also broken. And then we're going to 2 dice Curse of Arrow Attraction on the Chaos Knights. 1d6 plus 1d6, go a 6, that's a success, but it is going to be met by 3 dispel dice, and yeah, that's a dispel, so no luck there. I tested for that charge. I didn't test for these guys, whoops. Yep, they rally, so they're okay. And it's going to get charged by the Chaos Knights again. But that's okay, because I have a plan on this front. We are going to, in our shooting phase, Reaper Bolt Thrower at the Knights. We aren't going to be doing the fancy stuff. We're doing a single bolt. So we roll to hit, and we miss. So that is why you don't usually do single bolts. But if it worked, it would have been really cool. And give me a moment to hydrate. Alright, and I am back. Drinking water is very important, people. I'm not wanting to talk, I'm drinking tea right now, but hydration is still very important. So, let's get into the combat phase. We have 8 attacking spearmen who go first. Actually, they can be done with at the same time as the silver helms, because the first wound is going into that guy, and then anything can go over, so yeah. Yeah, it's expected. Admittedly, rolling only 4 hits with 11 attacks is really impressively bad. And finally, Chaos Ogre dead. So now the next 3 have to go into the spearmen. So that's going to be hits on 4s, wounds on 3s, saves on 6s. It's unfortunate it has to go into spearmen because we would rather it didn't. But, okay. 1 wound, 1 wound. On the flank. Outnumber. 2 extra ranks. 1, 2, 3, 4. Lost by 4. Let's go ahead and roll our thing. 6. It's 9. Leadership minus 4 is only a 5, so yep, they're going fleeing. And then both units are going to pursue. So this is the spearmen, and this is the silver helms. So they're dead. And they would have fled from the spearmen have the higher number, so they would have fled this way. So going 8 inches brings these guys into base contact with this unit. Oh my goodness. Go away, you. Like so, and then these guys would move only 4 inches forward, which would then basically bounce them here. Alright, and that is the end of turn 2. End of elf turn 2. Turn 3. Okay, I'm going to do one of the obvious stuff. We're going to charge the... mage, we're going to charge the bolt thrower. The bolt thrower is actually more dangerous right now than the mage, as stupid as that sounds. And we're going to charge these guys into here. So, wabam. And wabam. And then these guys are going to skirt around here. 14 inches. Wheel them. Scoot them down like so. And these guys are going to march 8 inches back towards this area. Okay, magic phase. There's really no spell that's good here. No, there isn't. This isn't magic phase. This is the chaos tome. What am I saying? Okay, so we have our silver helmets. They get to attack first. Against Warriors of Chaos, they actually hit on 4s, but they wound on 3s, and these guys have normally 3 up saves, because heavy armor is 2+, shields, yep. So 3 ups become 5 ups, go. 1 dead Chaos Warrior. And then 3 attacks from the horses, hit on 4s, wound on 5s, save on 3s, go. Nothing. 1, 2, 3, 4 attacks back. 4 attacks, hit on 3s, wound on 3s, save on 3s, go. Oof. That's kind of insane. Alright, over here. Hit on 4s, wound on 2s, save on 7s. Go. Nothing. 3 attacks, hit on 4s, wound on 3s, save on 6s. Go. Nothing. Okay. There is hope yet for elves. Wound on 3s, save on normally 2s, 3s, 4s. Go. Nothing. Okay. So, here, win by 2. That's a fail, so they break. They go 12 inches. They're obviously going to pursue. Oh, sorry. Champion of Corn. 5 attacks, hit on 3s, wound on 2s, save on 7s. Yep, perish. She's not going to overrun. She's going to hold here because she's not afraid of anything. These guys, I said, flee 12 inches this way, which would actually just kill them because they're fleeing into her. These guys pursue 7 straight into the High Elf Spearmen. These guys get a leadership check. Yep, they are totally fine. They have passed. And then we are on to the High Elf turn. We can just pull the bolt through as well. So the only decisions I have are with the Gothic Mage, which is basically going to be... we are going to cast with 3 dice, walk between worlds. That's a perfect success. And she's just going to chill there, because what else can she do? Fights. Over here. The Great Swords go first this time, or the Sword Masters go first, I should say. And this time they have killed one of the knights. 2 attacks back, hit on 4s, wound on 2s, save on 7s, go. 2 more attacks back, hit on 4s, wound on 3s, save on 6s, go. 1 dead. That's going to be a drawed fight. And then over here, 5 attacks, hit on 3s, wound on 3s, save on 6s, go. 2 dead spearmen. And then, I love rolling lots of dice. It's unfortunate when it's a bad chance of success. But we still killed one of them, which actually, shockingly, wins the fight for the spearmen. So, this one's a tie, so we can just pull these guys. But notably, similar trades is good for the High Elves. And this one, 2 versus 1, but they have an extra rank and they outnumber, so they actually win by 1. And those guys are fleeing 6 inches and being pursued 11. So that is actually a dead unit of Chaos Warriors. Hope. Very slim hope, but hope. And that's the end of Elf. Turn 3. Okay, charges. Charging. She needs a fear check. She fails. She flees 3 inches from both, I guess. So away this way. I mean, it doesn't matter. She's getting pursued and killed by both units. So, yep, 14. And then over and off the board. I think this is the correct way to resolve it. I'm not too sure. It doesn't really matter, let's be honest here. Next up, Marauders. Yeah, we're just going to push into the deployment zone, all according to Keikaku. Worst case, we'll send the Fletchhounds chasing down the Spearmen if it feels necessary, but I don't think it will. Alright, this fight. 4 attacks. That hit on 3s, wound on 3s, that save on 4s. Go. 1 wound. Alright, our lone Chaos Warrior. He hits on 4s. He wounds. There's no save on that. Horse hits. Horse wounds. No save. 2 dead. That is going to be an elf loss on that fight by 1. 6. They're fine. They're holding. Elf turn. Honestly, we're just going to turn the Spearman around. That's going to be the entire turn. We're holding this board edge. It doesn't really matter with these guys reduced. The only hope for Elves was killing both of these guys, taking the charge from the Marauders. Oh no, killing both of these guys on the Chaos turn, getting the charge on the Marauders, getting some distance over to here, trading objectives, and hoping that a unit of Spearmen and a unit of Swordmasters not scoring victory points would be enough. But unfortunately, that is no longer a hope that bears any fruit. So, combat phase. Now that we've wheeled those guys, we're going to hit 2 attacks, hit on 3s, wound on 3s, save on 4s, go, nothing. Solo roll him, he misses, the horse misses. Okay, end of turn, elf. Turn 4. I said 4, not 5 fingers. Alright, Chaos Champion comes back on. Let's see, invade requires... Yeah, I'm being sweaty and thinking about how to win even harder as the Chaos Forces. I feel like it's the right thing to do. Invade means that you need at least 1/3 of your unit strength of the warband must end in the opponent's deployment zone. Real quick math doing, we had 6 plus 6 plus 10 plus 6 plus, I'm gonna say 10 plus 4. So that was 42 unit strength. We currently have, this is assuming that the Fleshhounds are 2 each. 14. We currently have 21 unit strength left. So actually, if nothing dies, they can still achieve it. And so we're going to assume the best. So we're going to scoot these guys around to here. And we're going to move these guys sort of awkwardly. Wheel them, walk them up a bit. Wheel them. We're just trying to get vision on the Swordmaster so we can charge them next turn. If they don't kill the Chaos Knight. Big if right there. Because if they don't kill him, then these guys, then he can move, they can swing in to the deployment zone, or they can charge and then hopefully like overrun in. And like again, it doesn't matter, it does not matter in the slightest. I don't know why I'm bothering to play it out, but I am. So, this is our Swordmasters, no damage. Miss, hit, wound, no save. Alright, so one of them dies. And then make a leadership test. They pass. Okay. Elf turn 5. We're literally just gonna roll the dice. He misses. Chaos Knight hits. He wounds. Yep, that's a dead elf. Turn 5. Turn 6. Scoots in. Wheel. Like so. And then 5 inches to deposit yourselves into the deployment zone. End turn. Elves just end, because why would they? I mean, like, yeah, they could have run over and tried to fight, but that's just going to be feeding victory points in. So, with that, I'm going to go ahead and quickly reassert the elf deployment zone to make sure we got everything in. And the answer is 1/3 of the starting unit strength of your... Oh no, 1/3. I'm stupid. I did math completely wrong. I read 1/3 and then I acted like it was 1/2. Yep, okay, so they've achieved that one. So let's do a quick victory point count. So for the Elves, it is 71. Oh, sorry, for the Hordes of Chaos, it's 92 plus 104 plus 100 plus 500 divided by 5. 467 victory points. Meanwhile, the Elves scored 99 divided by 2 plus 90 plus 75 divided by 2 plus, where my chaos? Oh, so they are plus 76. 253. Not good, but not terrible. Better than it felt like was happening at the end. We had like a nice, good start on this point, and then it just all fell apart. I mean, honestly, what went wrong for the Elves is that they didn't generate any offensive potential with their Lord. Like, that is basically everything that went wrong for them. If they had developed any, if we'd hit Wrath of Cain, oh wow, that would have been amazing. Like, 2d6 strength for hits. If we hit Flames of the Phoenix, less good, but like still toss that on the Fleshhounds, toss that on the Marauders, toss it on like something to just do some damage. And especially because the way it works is you can cast it as your last spell, do damage one turn, it clocks over, next turn it does more damage, and then you can just cast something else instead, or you can just leave it on and let it tick up again. Overall a good game. I feel like Magic in Little Lords is a little iffy, but like Magic in Warbands is also a little iffy. I don't know if I'm the problem or if the it's actually bad. And I'm going to work that out eventually. I guess that's part of what playing all these games is like testing, learning the game better. Because obviously, like, I like 6th edition. I've played a lot of 6th edition. 6th edition is a very big game. There's a lot of moving parts. You could probably play this game for a decade and still not fully, like, know and understand everything about it. And I think I'm going to go on a little tangent. I think this is kind of a travesty of a lot of our current wargame environment, is that we constantly are looking for the new thing, the new edition, the new army book, if you're looking at 40k, the new balanced starter slate every 3 months. And it's like, you don't have enough time to even understand the state of the game before it gets changed on you again. And like, yeah, sure, we've got like the competitive people who play at the top tier. But they obviously play a lot and they obviously understand the game very well. But I think a lot of the time it's like they understand the fundamentals and they understand how to grab the obviously good stuff and use the obviously good stuff. And there's probably like a nuance and finesse for every version of the game that just never gets discovered because there isn't time to discover it, especially not when you have to paint and build an entire army. So like anytime you want a new unit, yeah, that's what, $50? Couple hours worth of painting time if you're good at it. I'm terrible about sitting down and painting my models. So for me, if I didn't have this, I wouldn't be able to play the game and test everything. So yeah, I feel like there's a lot of undiscovered nuance in all of wargaming that we just leave sitting on the table because we're excited for new product. Consume product, get excited for new product. That cycle. Yeah, that was a very unprompted, unscripted rant. I apologize for that 2 minutes of me yapping. But if you enjoyed this game, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Tomorrow we have another Little Lords game. I would normally try and do something different. I am now halfway, or rather I have done 3 of each category. So now I'm at the point where it's sort of like, hey, let's do another border patrol. But I had an idea for Little Lords that I really wanted to do. So we have Beasts of Chaos. We're going to have a Doom Bull. We're going to have so many Minotaurs. And that is going to be against Dwarfs using a Dwarf Lord who is kitted out as much as I can because I love runes. Runes are so cool. And unfortunately, I don't like the most of other Dwarf stuff, so I don't use them as much as I should. But hopefully, I will see you then. And until then, boy.